1022 and get my books on Amazon now.
The Matrix Unveiled. Awaken your spiritual powers. Take your visualizations and manifestations to the next level. Our spiritual consultations help you remove blockages to your success, guide you through your shadow work, assist with chakra alignment, inner child healing, divinations, and more. Join the Matrix Unveiled Academy and take your consciousness quantum. Please connect with us on our YouTube channel where we share information on spirituality and metaphysics. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to meet you on matrix-unveil.com.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
All right, family, we are now back. We are now back live. Let's see what's going on. Hey, you there? Hey.
Yeah.
My brother, you hear me?
Legend.
You hear me, my brother?
Yes.
All right, great. So, to start out with, my brother, listen, you came on the scene, man. Yeah, probably about 2007 or something like that. Is that when you came on the scene?
6.
6.
Really before that, technically, but unseen on the scene.
Indeed.
I really had a presence in 2003 without even being known.
Indeed. Listen, man, you came, you're known in the community as the Kabbalah God. And you came and you started teaching the black community about the tree of life and Kabbalah, mysticism, esoteric principles of the Hebrew faith and letters and all of that. And it was something we never seen before. Phil did lectures on it, but you went thoroughly into this thing. And I want to thank you, my brother, for laying the foundation of something that was going to be opened up to us at a later time. And your videos are classic, my brother. I advise everybody to go back to your videos and rewatch them. We're witnessing a mass awakening, and you are play a very important role in what's going on right now. Somebody said they hear echo. Do you have anything playing where they will hear echo? No?
Nah. It's
Maybe
the
that's
headphones.
I don't know. Maybe I have no idea.
You sound perfect.
Yeah, they say now I got an echo. I don't know why I got an echo. I'll figure it out, family. Check. All right, so listen, hey, to start out with, talk to the family about what exactly is the Tetragrammaton. Now, I know one thing that's interesting, that's very interesting that I heard Dr. Phil say, just about the Hebrew alphabet. He was like, every letter in the Hebrew alphabet could be found in a small constellation in the sky. Every letter of the 22 letters. Now that's some deep shit. You got a language that's designed specifically from the stars. That's some positive shit there. So I just imagine what you're gonna get into tonight, my brother. But talk to me about this Tetragrammaton and what exactly that means and what it entails, my brother.
Well, the word Tetragrammaton, it just means a word with 4 letters. So, here's a Tetragrammaton for you. Hulu, the television network, is a Tetragrammaton. So is NASA. NASAHULU. In spiritual parlance, the Tetragrammaton as Yod-He-Vav-He is a name of deity. It's the name of God. Now, it's a very interesting question to ask, because I ask you this: if that's the name of God, then, and this is gonna be a very edifying conversation. If that's the name of God, then what is the name of water before water ever got a name to be written on a piece of paper? So That's a rhetorical question. What is the name of water to the thirsty who don't speak English? So did water begin when they began to become thirsty, or did water begin when someone wrote it down, or has water always been here before we got a term to define it with? So what you have in the form of the Tetragrammaton is, shout out to my teachers, Reverend Valentine, the Celestial Correspondences of the Hebrew Language by Curson Turnbull. I'll give you the name. I'll add the name to you. My sound accelerated. It was because they set it up for us to do so. So when you see the Tetragrammaton, you see a place marker for an awareness and situational awareness of the viewer. Spirituality is a spiritual technology once it places itself inside of a book. And when you notice, books are better than the movie. The movie gives you too much detail. Reading the book, it starts inaugurating and stimulating your imagination. So imagine the technology of spirit and for religion to now, instead of oral tradition, when they could put the narrative in a book and print it, now you can travel with the narrative. And if you remember in school, they used to have these things called cliff notes. And what I find religion to be is, I find it two things. It's a cliff note to my mystery, my ancient mystery, that turned into a historical narrative over time, morphologically. And now that humans occupy a narrative of myth, they are creating historical creations of reality linearly in front of us with myths, and forget that there is no reality. We live in a myth, right? And myth has a function. It has levels to the game, as they say. Myth has, if I speak to you with my pinky, I'm speaking to you on a place that everybody got a pinky. It's the closest, the smallest finger is the closest to the ground right now. But then I start speaking on this level. That's speaking to people that got this another level. Then there's another level. And there's another level. So I show you 4 levels. So when I show you the Tetragrammaton, it's a cliff note. Left is a Tetragrammaton. So is NASA. NASA, HULU. In spiritual parlance, the Tetragrammaton as Yod He Vav He is a name of deity, is the name of God. Now, it's a very interesting question to ask, because I ask you this. If that's the name of God, then, and this is going to be a very edifying conversation. If that's the name of God, then what is the name? If that's the name, that the Tetragrammaton as Yod He Vav He is a name of deity, is the name of God. Now, it's a very interesting question to ask, because I ask you this. If that's the name of God, then, and this is going to be a very edifying conversation. If that's the name of God, then what is the name of water before water ever got a name to be written on a piece of paper? So that's a rhetorical question. What is the name of water to the thirsty who don't speak English? So did water begin when they began to become thirsty, or did water begin when someone wrote it down, or has water always been here before we got a term to define it with? So what you have in the form of the Tetragrammaton is, shout out to my teachers, Reverend Valentine, the Celestial Correspondences of the Hebrew Language by Curson Turnbull. I'll give you the name. I'll add the name to you. My students know the name of it. It's a very important book that he put me on to, that you can find. And this is the key. This is one of the keys to unlock and understanding, is that if words or the letters to describe words exist in the sky, then they have a dominion and a power over the physical world. So when you speak of Tetragrammaton, you have to, with all due respect to the listener, I would want you to go to the first time that you see it in textual form and find what it is doing in the text, and then it'll give you another key to understand its import. So the first time we find it in the Torah, used as a place marker for deity. But what is deity? Deity is a series of functions, and we brilliantly have encapsulated in 4 letters the operation of function, and it almost acts like a binary code. I'm kind of getting right to it, because
I love it.
and back to Reverend Valentine and Bobby Hemmett and Dr. Blair. They've spoken of, and Azazel, God bless him, they have spoken of Kabbalah back in the day, and each of them, when I came to the scene, they told me how grateful they were that I was there, so I can explain the things that they did not have time to. They had to push us back in the day without the internet. Without cell phones, our teachers had to accelerate the message just to get us to where we at now. That's a fact. So they was happy that somebody had taken the study of mysticism, as you described earlier, into focus and was able to disseminate the information accordingly. But that did not come easy to me. I had to explain its importance for at least 5 to 6 years. I had to explain. I couldn't get to none of the subject context areas because I had to explain to people look like us how important it was to have the mystical part of their religious desire to be understood. So they didn't know that there's a mystical narrative, but we were given keys to unlock mystical narratives through our teachers who gave us the Dark Matter think tank. They gave us Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Blair. They gave us pretext and gave us an ability to flesh out ideas. The recipients of that are people of the likes of you and I, the red pill, the blue pill, other people who are in our contemporaries who can sound accelerated. It was because they set it up for us to do so. So when you see the Tetragrammaton, you're seeing a place marker for an awareness and situational awareness of the viewer. Spirituality is a spiritual technology once it places itself inside of a book. When you notice books are better than the movie. The movie gives you too much detail. Reading the book, it starts inaugurating and stimulating your imagination. So imagine the technology of spirit and for religion to now, instead of oral tradition, when they could put the narrative in a book and print it, now you can travel with the narrative. And if you remember in school, they used to have these things called Cliff Notes. And what I find religion to be is, I find it two things. It's a Cliff Note to my mystery, my ancient mystery, that turned into a historical narrative over time, morphologically. And now that humans occupy a narrative of myth, they are creating historical creations of reality literally in front of us with myths, and forget that there is no reality. We live in a myth, right? And myth has a function. It has levels to the game, as they say. Myth has, if I speak to you with my pinky, I'm speaking to you on a place that everybody got a pinky. It's the closest, it's the smallest finger, it's the closest to the ground right now. But then I start speaking on this level, that's speaking to people that got this another level, then there's another level, then there's another level. So I show you 4 levels. So when I show you the Tetragrammaton, it's a Cliff Note left by ancient people into all of the current religious motifs. They eloquently and gently, subtly hide the operation of God, which is 4 levels of operation. You require 4 things in order for you to be able to manifest anything. And that's what Yahweh represents. It's situational awareness for the human occupying their feet. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to teach you about the Tetragrammaton in a way that will give you, I hope it broadens your perspective. I have to show you another version of it projected on a higher rung of understanding, not just your pinky, right? So let's go upstairs, right? In the narrative. So the Tetragrammaton now becomes tools for you to operate. And whenever you say you want something, the God in you is the strongest desire. Everybody, God ain't the same. Some people, God's is evil. Some people, God's is insane. But the God in you is a God of desire. The God of this universe, the God of, I won't say the universe, that's an absolute statement. The God of this quadrant of the universe is a God of need. Every time you see something that requires something. When you look at me, you see what I need. When I look at you, I see what you need. And when we see each other, we see constant desire that spins in an orientation that creates the gravity for life. So we're witnessing multiple things happening at the same time. So what people have to understand is this. When you speak of deity and you speak of God, God does not just exist in one space in the universe or just in your mind. God is everywhere on different levels. So when you see the Tetragrammaton eloquently expressed in the Assyrian script, the Ashuri script known to you as Hebrew, you see that you can stack the letters on top of each other, and the letters Yod, He, Vav, and He will appear to be a human figure. So this gives you an indicator as to the import of that place marker. When you see Yahweh, you are supposed to recognize 4 worlds. One of my teachers in Kabbalah taught me this a long time ago. He knew I was very eloquent. He knew I retained the information, but he told me the mysticism wouldn't serve me until I indulge myself in understanding the 4 worlds. So I'll give you, I will accelerate all the listeners. I'll make you a mini master tonight. You heard? And it's easy, right? Because you're already a master. The fact that you even aware of us and what we're doing is amazing. I got a birthday coming up on the 13th, and the party, if you in LA, is on what realm you want to occupy in this world. If you make pizza pies, you better know the 4 worlds. You better know that you're going to need to heat the oven up. The oven got to be at a certain temperature. You're going to have this certain dough in there and the timing, and then the 4th process is going to be the product. This is in everything that everybody does. Everything runs through the focus of deity, which is 4 things. Tetragrammaton. So the tetragrammaton is like a ubiquitous symbol that travels through time to keep humans aware of the importance, the situational awareness of knowing the role of the number 4. Shout out to Blue Pill. Word is God. So we got 4 Sephiroth in the center of the tree of life, which when we add them up, what's 1 plus 6? 1 plus 6 is 7. What's 7 plus 9? Then we go, then we add it all away. So add up 1 plus 6 plus 9 plus 10. That's another numeric appellative name, nomenclature for the usefulness of the tetragrammaton. You understand? So now, when you say Yah, who? You say we got the first 2, now we got Yod, Yod, Now the vowel, what is the vowel? What does my students already know what the letter vowel in Hebrew? It's the connector, it's the nail. It takes 2 dimensions. It takes things dimensionally and connects them. So now you have Yah, and now there are people who are in other spiritual systems who could be listening, and I know that they know what we're talking about when we go into hierarchy structures. You can speak to Dungeons and Dragons people, you can speak to the gods that the deity. The need for God in the highest realm of reality becomes an axe used to cut down trees in the lower rung to burn fire. The need for food on the highest rung, and you're standing in a cornfield, becomes tortilla, or the bread. You heard? Function of taking corn, shaping it, it's amazing what you can do with corn. You can use the husk of a corn to make a tamale. There's no waste product in the universe once you have hierarchy structures and know where to place the ordinal structure of, damn, don't I sound 48? I think I'm getting smarter, yo. Bro, I think I'm getting smarter. Yo, I appreciate you for even having me here, brother, because me and you know each other, we've seen each other in our progression, you heard? And one of the things that I admire about you is you have the ability, and you a Virgo, shout out to Virgos. They say Virgos and Scorpios have like very interesting relationships in the universe. And it came to my awareness that we are like 9 months apart, you heard? So Scorpios, Virgos, I don't want to get too deep into that. Then niggas think I'm trying to be radical. And shout out to my big homie, for real, get you a reading. I spoke to him the other day, and he told me why my throat is jammed up, and you know what I gotta do for my birthday and everything, to everything be, you know what I mean, on par, for real. But I tell you, as we in linear descent models and we go down the 4 worlds in the Tetragrammaton, as the letters are stacked upon one another, the 3rd world is the world called Yetzirah. Yetzirah means formation. And you notice, there's one thing, you know, ideas are worth nothing unless what?
Bring them into fruition, right?
Exactly. Unless you do the work to bring them into fruition. And that's what Yetzirah, that's what the Baal means in the Yod He Baal He. The 3rd letter of the Tetragrammaton equals you doing something. You heard? You connecting the worlds together to make something manifest. So now, I'll give you another example of the Tetragrammaton in linear form in the story. There's a significant personage in the Old Testament in the narrative named Lamech. Lamech has 2 wives, Ada and Zillah. Automatically, when you see this, you see Lamech, Ada, and Zillah. And then when you go and you look up what does Lamech's name equal, and then you go and look to see who his father is, you'll understand a whole nother narrative. That's another more advanced narrative. But he has 4 children, and these 4 children all equate to the 4 worlds. His first 2, Jubal, Jabal, and something. Baby, the first 2 is Jay's, right? The second one, the 3rd child name is Tubal Cain. That name should register. Jubal and Jado. One means an instrument, one means sound. Then the 3rd, Tubal Cain, is a hero within the Freemasonic dialogue. He is the great artificer of bronze. So here we go again, the bronze that he speaks of. And when you work in bronze, people that usually work in metals, they wear aprons, right? Them and Masons wear aprons, right? So the Masonic hero, Tubal Cain, is envisaged and used throughout the Freemasonic myth as a symbolic reference to this narrative. But then there's a 4th child, and that 4th child name is Naama. Now, a lot of us know, I got a cousin named Naima, and God bless her, that was my mother's middle name. So, Naima, I got 2 cousins named Naima, matter of fact, both named after my mama, middle name. And that name means pleasant. Naima means the pleasant one. And Naam, when somebody says la means no. Naam in Arabic is yes. So pleasant, this is the world of yes. This is the world where one makes his desires. This is why it'll drive you crazy watching humans live next to you with the same access to the same air, water, food. And some will accelerate in abundance faster than others. Some will never know the mystery of abundance because they never knew that this world has the ability to offer pleasantries. This is what keeps the world going, is the fact that humans get this endorphin hit. They get this dopamine hit from doing good things that are pleasing to them. Then this can get obscured. Then you can live in a world that you think that everything should be pleasing all the time. And then you'll go crazy seeking pleasures that are non-existent. You heard? So you find in the fourth world, as I described the four children, and y'all can go cross-reference me to get the specific names. The four children of Lamech are all symbolic references of the four worlds. So you can learn the tree of life. You can learn the 10 Sephiroth. You can even go into the western part of
Pronunciation is synonymous with the accomplishment of the great work. Why are people saying his name is so powerful that it shouldn't be uttered?
I will go back to and harken upon the intro when I spoke on, and the thing that I said was very specific was, what came first, water or the first time someone wrote about water? You feel me? So I go, Aleister Crowley was in Oxford, recognized by the Oxford historians to be one of the greatest poets of his time. He's in their book and anthology of the greatest poets ever. So he was very eloquent with the English language, and if you read into the orthodox and the more scholastically books concerning Hebraic mysticism, he does not appear in the books as a feature, a huge significant figure in the narrative. So what he says is to be taken lightly. I want to say that what he did gather, he gathered that information from ecclesiastic colloquialisms associated to the utterance of the Tetragrammaton within the temple, that once it is mentioned, it fills up the temple with a volume. And that volume and that presence, they call it a black cloud. So of course, he don't understand black clouds. He would try to act dark. He would spiritually paint his face black, his spirit on paper, just to try to be. Again, I told you, some food tastes better when it's stolen, depending on the culture you're from. You feel me? They say the best egg sandwich is from stolen eggs. Yeah? Because if they not stolen, if you got it, it ain't nothing to you. We got so much sauce. We have oral traditions.
Let me just add this real quick. Hey, it's the same way. That's very interesting you say that. It's like when you try food, somebody else's food, that shit tastes good like a motherfucker. But then when you buy it yourself, it don't taste as good as when you just ate it from somebody else's plate sometimes.
Right. Correct. And you see this thing constantly, that if one was to ask me about Western occultism and who to go to, you would have to do a complete overview and understand that even those occultists, they used to have beef. A lot of them people that, like Dion Fortune, had beef with Aleister Crowley. They had magical wars, bro. They used to get at each other. Yeah? For real. So they didn't like how he would just arbitrarily run with and take symbols and do as he wished with them. You heard? And a lot of people attribute him to be a Freemason of repute, but he got his Masonic degrees from an irregular lodge in Mexico, and just took pictures designed after the Tree of Life. Look at the Tree of Life and look at the space shuttle. This is a fact that they created the space shuttle primarily and very specifically based solely off of the Kabbalistic tree of life. And Jack Parsons is the one got satellites in the sky through jet propulsion. Shout out to with Pasadena, you heard? California. Pasadena. Next time you come out here, Rich, we're going out there to the bookstores in Pasadena. Pasadena's mad spiritual, you heard? Jet propulsion labs, you heard? Out there. JPL, right here in California. So the reason why they're able to perform escape velocity with rocketry has something to do with what is called the Babylon work, or the Babylon working, that Crowley has a very famous sigil associated to it. It's a 7-pointed star interlocking that has a series of Hebraic script written around it, and that's associated with jet propulsion. So we have very interesting personages. So now, Aleister Crowley said that he was a servant of the AA. Now, where did he get the AA from? So I serve a purpose. I know who I am in the narrative. I am a juxtaposition like no other. I'm a living juxtaposition. I'm always correctly where I shouldn't be for the right reason, to instruct the best people around me who are in the worst situation, but know that they're the greatest, surrounded by people that don't know what the fuck is going on. Yeah. So it's like a series of juxtapositions. Where did he get the AA from? He got that from Pascal Beverly Randolph. So who's to say when he's saying that he's calling on this deity called Aiwass? He might be calling on our big homie. Yeah, using the spirituality of the time. A lot of American-born spirituality comes from upstate New York, comes from the Burnt Over district between Ulster County and Buffalo, New York. Father Divine is from there. The term God body comes from the Burnt Over district. That comes from Father Divine and them. God in the body comes from them. However, they was Christians, and they made the New Jerusalem in Ulster County, New York. And Father Divine still had followers to this day. He had a lot of white women who were Germans. In Germantown, Philadelphia, this is a known fact that Father Divine, a large group of his followers was women. People of all cultures and colors came to his church, and they all belonged to a community. They could come to that church and eat a very small fee for dinner, and they used to have banquets. So I'm like this. Through cultural morphology, we've inherited these concepts, and we don't know where a lot of stuff comes from. So back to the Tetragrammaton, you see the cherubim represented as eagles, lions, men. You heard? The eagle, the lion, the man, and what's the other one? Y'all know what it is. You heard? The four workings of a thing. You will only really know three things. You would have to be the fourth thing. You would have to do the work in the third world to make the world that you live in manifest the ideation of what you want your God to offer you in the form of need. So, you ever seen people transform religiously? Or transform in around their head and the crown? Where does that come from? And I was like, King, it's the baby, like, yeah, this, yeah, chill, King. You won. For real. Oh, they sucking it. These my folks. These is my folks.
Yeah, they
for real. Yeah, I'm finna buy me some chains tomorrow.
Oh.
That look is nice, man. Yo, the rope chains, you is shitting right now. Daddy, yo. Yeah.
Oh man,
For real.
Yo, it's always good being on the show. And he brings such a good energy to the show, family. Like I said, we gonna get to one last question.
Shout out to the Virgos
All right, well,
in the building.
Indeed,
And the
all Virgos in the building.
Scorpios.
All the Virgos.
For real. Shout out to the Scorpios and Virgos. That Pisces too. Pisces, you lit. You just always running. And then Aries, you getting on my nerves. For real.
Yeah, man. Y'all try
But
to
we
get
love
questions.
all the signs. Oh yeah, them,
They got
your crowd is brilliant.
Okay, so let's get to this one. We're gonna do more than one. We're gonna do two. The brothers, under the weather. It's the brother's birthday. Just show support to the brother. The brothers, he ain't have to do this tonight, so I appreciate it. But what's the significance they want to know of separating the Hebrew letters by 7?
Well, that's my brother Julius. Shout out to Julius. I see you, King. Now, I said that you can separate them in 7s so that you can learn them. That's how we learn Arabic. We was taught to separate the Arabic in the 7s. Aleph, ba, ta, ta, jim, ha, kha. Dal, dal, ra, za, jim, ta, sim, sad. So if you can remember 7 things, a multiple of 28 times, you can get the Arabic alphabet. Now, if you can remember 22 things 7 times, you can. But to answer, so Julius, don't think that, see, that could be a kedusha or called an innovation from me. People might think that I separate them in 7s. They actually separated in 3, 7, and 12. So for reference, you can go to the book. It's called the Sefer Yetzirah. I think you should go to the Aryeh Kaplan. Aryeh Kaplan is one of the greatest authors in the...
Brother's breaking up right now.
I am? Hello?
Hey, mother, you breaking up bad right now. Yeah.
Okay. Hello? Can we hear me? We back? Legend.
You still... Okay, you back now.
I opened the show up for Red and Blue Pill if they was busting plays and moving around, and we keep it going. You know what I'm saying? There's no beginning, no end to you. You the greatest thing that ever happened to the universe, for real. And remember what I said: Absolute, Braya, Yetzirah, and Asya. Those are the 4 worlds. In each world, you in 4 places at 4 different times. All the time, situational awareness, for real. And I'm gonna give you another tool. You are not alone if you be feeling like you a little crazy sometimes. It's be the greatest people in the world is going through it mentally. I want you to understand this. Understand the role of the doer, the thinker, and the knower. The doer, the thinker, and the knower. You can control all the circumstances surrounding your life if you take a view and you look at the components of mind. And once you lose touch with your doer, your thinker, and your knower, you no longer you. They become fear, doubt, and disbelief in oneself. And that's the last thing you need. For real. For real. At your darkest hour, never feel like you're alone. For real. And I'm going to tell you something. This is a new thing. I don't think they had the words to call us that back in the day. People call them, now they call them toxic relationships, right? And a lot of people is participating in them because they don't know that they have the capacity to love. You don't know that you actually are love. And once you realize that you are love, then you understand how divine and how infinite you are in potential. And if you ever forget that you are love, then there's little exercises you can do. And a lot of you fall out of grace with yourself before you go to sleep. And I know why. You worked a long day, you did a bunch of stuff for yourself and others. You may not have got all the nutrition you needed. You might, according to the hierarchy of needs, you might be missing something. So you're going to sleep sometime with shit on your mind. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to free you up. All you got to do is this. Replay your day in your mind and use the myth. Everybody else using myths. Everybody else is using myths to readjust their reality and feel good about themselves. So you better make you a myth and feel good about yourself. Feel good about the myth that you create. If somebody was playing with you, just go like this. I forgive you. You just ain't know what you was doing. You just ain't know. You ain't know that these eggs ain't stolen. And that's not what this sandwich tastes good, because these is not stolen eggs. Maybe stolen eggs taste good on your omelet, but there is nothing stolen over here. That's a legend. There you go. Pop that. No, go back. Okay.
Watch college football all season long.
Oh, yeah.
Cable free.
Oh, yeah. Here you go. Here it is, yeah. So we holding it down. I bet, so I can see the questions. Okay, so my birthday is on the 13th. Thank you, Mega. You a legend. Shout out to Mega. For real. You a legend. Listen, so I go, the birthday is on November 13th. So I said, I'm grown. I want to be of service to the people on my birthday. So I'm teaching on my birthday like a grown-ass man. Real teaching. But the party is going to be Saturday. So the party is like super free. You just pull up. We're going to have the jungle, call it the jungle juice. We will have the finest wings. I know some vegans is coming. We're going to have the finest, what's that, potatoes and mushrooms flavored up with the rosemaries on them. Put a little vegan butter or whatever on them. Some potato chips. Potato chips is vegan. We got you. Boom. Then the finest and most intelligent people, good vibes that I'm getting. I don't know if you ever got a birthday cake from out here. The birthday cakes out here, it seemed like somebody had the first birthday cake out here in California. Because they got bakeries that seem like they make birthday cakes for God himself. So we're going to have the finest birthday cake. Then we have it 3 DJs. Promise you. 3 DJs. And then shout out to Chef Mark. Chef Mark is coming with an exclusive dish. Shout out to Comfort LA. I'm going over there to get. And Comfort LA got the bigger wings now. Please don't make fun of me or laugh at me, because I'm a little fat. I'm a big fella. I'm sorry. It's my birthday. It's coming up. So big fella's gonna have 200 wings there. Don't laugh. I'm gonna tell them to put 100 flats in there. So if you like the flats, we watch. Good vibes. Good vibes. The finest vibes. Promise you. For real. So we're gonna be in, if you want to come to the party, you want the intel on where it's at, the party's gonna be at the same place as the class is. The class is the 13th, The party is the 12th in Los Angeles. If you're in Oracle, Los Angeles, we're in Chinatown. You want the specifics, I'm going to post the flyer on my Instagram. The Instagram is the same as the Cash App. AA Rashid R. AARASHID-R, and I'm gonna post it up there with the address, and we're gonna have fun for real. I promise you. With all these soccer treats, the sockets is coming. I'm thinking 300 wings now, son. 300 wings? I think 300 wings, man. Then watch, Chef Mark, we ready. Tell Chef Mark I'm gonna send him that money, man, tonight. Call him, son. Call Chef Mark. Tell him to send me his his Cash App, so we get that situated. Promise you, we are blessed. We are blessed and highly favored. I swear for God, we're not gonna have no cheap alcohol neither. I'm just letting you know, cause we keeping the energy and the vibes high. So champagne, no less than Bel Air. You know what I mean? We definitely gonna have that Don P in the building. It's gonna be some of that over there. The finest bubbles. The champipples and all of that is there in the building. Charcuterie trays. All the charcuteries. You like that charcuterie. That's what they saying, right? They gonna have, what you call it? What's that? You know what I'm talking about. We gonna have fun. Do-do-do-do-do-do. What this mean? Do-do-do-do-do-do. What that mean? Okay, you know what it means then. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I promise you, plenty of libations, waters. We don't run out of nothing. We don't run out of nothing. We are blessed. We are blessed. You know why I'm blessed? Because I know you. I promise you. I truly appreciate y'all, man. I thank y'all, man. You're gonna make me cry.